Hello there children, it's Jude here with Lammy and Flossie and welcome back to the EYFS at Home Harvest Day. We've had a really lovely day today and now it's time for our bedtime story. We've got our blanket over the lammies and we're going to tell you the story of the enormous turnip because it's all about growing and harvesting food. I've got here a picture of some turnips just in case you're not sure what they look like. They grow in the ground. Okay, they've got these big stalks here to help you pick them and they're very good. I like them best of all chopped up with carrot, so carrot and turnip with a roast dinner. Yum, yum. So here we go, I'm going to tell you the story of the enormous turnip. Lots of actions for this story. Are you ready to join in? Here we go. Once upon a time there was a farmer and his wife and family and they were very, very busy. It was harvest time. They'd been chopping down the wheat, they'd been picking the fruit from the trees, and they'd been digging up the potatoes and pulling the carrots. The farmer said, "I'll go and bring the turnips in now, I won't be long." And he went out and he started to pull the turnips out of the ground when suddenly he saw at the end of the row the top of an enormous turnip. Goodness me, I have never seen a turnip that big before. That will be fabulous for dinner. He rolled up his sleeves, he got hold of the top of the turnip, are you ready? And he pulled, and he pulled. It wouldn't move. I'll try again. And he pulled, and he pulled. It just won't move. I need help. And so he called for his wife, "Come on, come and help." So the farmer's wife stood behind the farmer who took hold of the turnip and together they pulled and pulled. It still wouldn't move. So the farmer's wife called for her son. "Come on," she said, "come and help." So the son stood behind the farmer's wife who stood behind the farmer who took hold of the turnip and together they all pulled. Are we ready? They pulled and they pulled, but still the turnip would not move. So the little boy called for his sister. "Come on," he said, "we need your help." So the sister stood behind the little boy who stood behind the farmer's wife who stood behind the farmer who took hold of the top of the turnip and together they pulled and pulled. It still wouldn't come out of the ground. So the little girl called for the dog. "Come on," she said. The dog ran over and stood behind the girl who stood behind the boy who stood behind the farmer's wife who stood behind the farmer who took hold of the top of the turnip and together they pulled and pulled. Well, it still didn't work and so the dog called for the cat. "Come on." "Meow. What's the fuss?" said the cat. "We need your help." "Oh, very well." The cat stood behind the dog who stood behind the daughter who stood behind the son who stood behind the farmer's wife who stood behind the farmer who took hold of the top of the turnip and together they pulled and pulled. It still wouldn't go. "Can I help?" asked the little mouse. "Oh, that's really kind of you," said the farmer, "but you're ever so small. I'm not sure you'll be able to help us." "Oh, go on. I might be just that little bit of extra power you need. Go on." "Oh, very well," said the farmer. So the mouse stood behind the cat, who stood behind the dog, who stood behind the girl, who stood behind the boy, who stood behind the farmer's wife, who stood behind the farmer, who took hold of the top of the turnip, and together they pulled and pulled. "I think it's moving," said the farmer. "Keep going." And pulled and pulled. "It's definitely moving. Come on, one more time." And pulled and pulled and pop! Out of the ground came the turnip and everybody rolled and landed in a heap. "Thank you so much," said the farmer to the little mouse. "We couldn't have done it without you." "Oh, that's quite all right. Could I ask just a little favour? Would you save me just a little bit of the turnip? I do like it." "Of course we will, not a problem." The farmer and his family carried the enormous turnip back to their kitchen. They chopped it up, they put it in a pan and they made turnip soup. And they left a little plate on the floor that was full of little pieces of turnip to say thank you to the little mouse. The end. Oh, children, we hope you enjoyed that story. It's a lovely way to end our Harvest Day on EYFS at home. Snuggle up and we'll hopefully see you again soon for another activity day sometime soon. Take care everybody.